Hello, and welcome to
Selene.
Selene Apoptosis, a demo horror game. And a random stranger licking the puddle on the floor. Alright then, let's just begin. I don't know much anything else really. Aside from the fact that this demo version's been out since last year, the sound was driving him crazy. Monotonous muffled thuds were resonating throughout his dell with dull pain. The pain wasn't strong, not unbearable, but that sound. More than anything else, he wanted the sound to just stop. Tad. Nevertheless, the knocking sounds didn't end. He knew it well enough, because he himself was their origin. Tad. The notes of his soft-toned moccasin was hitting the rear of his desk over and over again, like a huge fluffy moth frantically ramming against the window glass. Actually, he wanted plenty of things. He wanted to pay the rent in time this month. Not to displease his landlady again. He wanted to finish the script, at least in draft, because the draft is at least something one can work with. And he wanted to sleep. No, not like that. The problem, a serious one, was that he didn't really want to sleep. He leaned back in his chair and rubbed his shut eyes, pressing his eyeballs until dancing pale lights appeared. Batman. Of course, he took the sleeping pills. When a healthy 8-hour sleep gives way to a not-so-healthy 5-hour sleep, then 3-hour one, and then goes away entirely, you stop thinking how this will impact your liver. You just want to sleep. You need sleep, especially if you have already taken an advantage payment for the first part of a gig. And the goddamn text won't just write itself. However, if the text could in fact write itself somehow, he would probably lose his job. He didn't have any illusions in this regard. As soon as neural networks get smart enough, he and dozens of other ghostwriters will vanish into morning mist of a new era in literature. He didn't have much of a name or connections, only some skill and a knack to meet the deadlines for the most part. I can barely hear the audio. I've adjusted the things. Is everything alright? Give me a moment. Okay, window settings seem to be okay. Oh! Well, would you look at that? How about we bump this up? Oh, there's a little voiceover on them? Sure. Anyways, the client was content with this. And he was content with the pay. So everything went well until the pills started failing him. Blam. This time the tick got too strong. His foot jerked and hit the board with very notable pain. Seemed like he even heard his toes crack. He muttered a short curse and rolled the chair away from the desk, although he knew, now that his attention was not trained at a blank text file, the tick should go away all by itself. It's funny how the consciousness is detached from the body. He often thought about it, especially while having insomnia. It's like you're working as a team, but your partner starts pulling something. You seem to have common goals, but when all hell breaks loose, you are suddenly left alone with it, and your partner is more interested in watching the fire than fighting it. In the end, you have no idea what's on his mind. Well, at least there won't be any more knocking. Good. A small window at the far side of the room flashed white for a moment. A storm? Not that he thought about it. The day was hot. The vicious, stagnant air still filled the room. this, and a barely audible squeak of an overheated network filler. He became sensitive to such things when he could not sleep for a long time. Made the entire room seem to vibrate a little. Like a cocoon that's about to hatch. Actually, this sounds like a good line. He rolled back to the table and was about to write the thought down, but paused over the keyboard. He remembered the individual words and the general idea, but the sentence had already slipped away. This time, the white light seemed to fill the entire room. Then a thunder followed, resembling a low-gut roar of something large and famished. Good Lord. He called to God way too often for someone who never goes to church. Stop farting! Just a habit he inherited from his mother. A furious patter of raindrops pounded on his window. There's no way he could work like this. Not as long as godly thoughts are out there. Not now. But maybe it's for the best. Since he was a little boy, he slept well during the storms. Had to seize the moment. He groped for a jar of sleeping pills. Always good to have your working tools at hand. Popped the pills into his mouth and opened the window to hear the steady patter of the rain. Then he went to the bed and collapsed on top of the bedsheets, his clothes still on. He could tell by the sound that water had flooded the windowsill and was trickling down to the floor. He decided that was a small price to pay. He felt a pleasant chill of blood beneath his cheek. The wavering haze was gradually fading from the room. Yet the sleep did not come. He tried to take off his shoes, change position, take a pillow, cover himself, throw the pillow away to the other side of the room. Nothing helped. He just lay there with his eyes closed, and though his closed eyelids felt heavy, he knew it was an illusion. All in vain. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. Roll strong pills. Thud. At first he thought he was imagining things. Thud. 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 Sometimes the knocking paused, but it never stopped completely. The sound came from below, from the first floor. Someone was banging insistently on the door. And with each thud, he could feel the rage building up like a tight knot of pain around his stomach. Yes, trying to sleep! Is it really that hard to just leave a man alone? At least at night, at least at the house that he pays for, specifically so that nobody would bother him? He opened his eyes, easy, just as he thought, sprang to his feet, and ran down the stairs. Something was boiling inside him. Halfway to the door, he took a turn to the cupboard and pulled out an old baseball bat. He wasn't likely to actually use it. He asked himself if he would, as he reached for the door handle. No, he certainly wouldn't. But he's angry, and he wants the night guest to learn it. What the hell? The rain was still pouring, or rather, it was actually getting stronger. As his mother would say, and the floodgates of heaven tore open. His mother used to see a lot of things. That wasn't a list of reasons why he had to overpay for a separate house where anyone could start banging the door in the middle of the night. A kid, for example. That's not really a problem for me. What the hell? He said it again, this time aloud. He's gonna make a fine, grumpy old man in his old age. A cat was standing on his porch. Oh, cattail. That's a cat girl, not just a cat. She looked like a pure breed, braided short hair in all respects, except for the color. Aside from the smoky gray head, she looked as if she was dropped into a vat of white paint, and then the lower part was dipped into black one. Red fur clung to her small, rather skinny body, dripping with water. That the cat could have probably slipped into the house as soon as the door opened. Oh crap! Wait. Oh yeah. It's a cat. Our cat girl. She has ears. Give me a moment. I want to get back to the main menu. Okay, that explains this lady licking water on the floor. Anyways, back to this. The cat could have probably slipped in the house and as soon as the door opened, but since she froze, as if waiting for the host to say something. It was cold outside, much colder than one might think. I'm not gonna be an asshole. He didn't feel angry anymore. Alright, come in. He stepped aside, freeing the doorway. The cat didn't move. What? You don't want to? He was about to say, fine then. Close the door, go back to the second floor, and lie on a suffocating half sleep until morning. But he finally realized what was wrong. The bat. He threw it on the sofa, but missed. The bat clattered on the floor. The cat followed it into the darkness with her round yellow eyes. The sounds didn't frighten her. They sagged. I won't hurt you. Come in if you want. And she looks like she already has some no on her, but... The cat roused her eyes at him. For the first time, he actually saw. I couldn't help admiring how big and yellow they were. The cat's pupils were also large and incredibly round. Like 2 full moons in an eclipse. Totally not breasts we're talking about here. Just as he was about to close the door for the second time, the cat murmured something and fluttered into the house, patting him with her wet head as she passed by. He smiled. Strictly speaking, wait, did this cat smile? Yeah, she smiled. While murmuring something, strictly speaking, at this very moment, his line had ended. If the landlady found out, and he was sure she would, he do have to look for a new place to live. Oh yeah, I hate that those kind of people. I just can't have cats, you can't have dogs. There are too many lovely bored seniors in the neighborhood who have only 2 pastimes. Observing and reporting, and it doesn't really matter what or to whom. Well, it's fine. Maybe he do leave the suburbs. Maybe he do move to an apartment, since him getting privacy didn't work out anyway. The rain was getting stronger. They closed the door. The cat explored the house with cautious curiosity, stepping by different objects as if trying to understand their purpose. Watching it was amusing, so amusing that he even forgot about the stain. When he remembered, it has already spread out, a dark spot of water in the place where the cat clung to him. He pulled the wet cloth away from his body and stared at it blankly for a moment, then almost groaned aloud. The cat was soaked, so she probably got a lot of dirt to the house. He decided not to turn on the light. He had enough disappointment for the night. Instead, he went to get a towel. Alright, come here. The cat turned her head to the voice and froze in place. She was examining the TV. The lifeless black mirror of a plasma panel in a lacquer frame that he haven't even touched since moving in. In the reflection, the cat herself looked back. She gave him a long, appraising look, and then, with a sudden eagerness, trotted towards him, deftly winning the obstacles. Yes! I heard the cat's thrust! He was surprised. Maybe the cat decided that he was more interesting than the TV, or maybe she still respected the hosts well. Anyway, he felt grateful. Finally, someone he can actually negotiate with. She's usually really difficult negotiate with cats unless you have some snacks. But it worked nicely with her. Suddenly, he thought how nice it would be to curl under the blanket with a warm ball of fur. It would surely have helped him to fall asleep. As a child, he had a cat. Gray, huge, brash, immensely ugly, and equally beloved. He often fell asleep hugging him. The cat's name was Timo, and he faded into a June night many years ago. The cat bumped her wet hand against him once more. He thought that the cats usually shake up the water themselves. Usually, but perhaps not always. Hey, easy there. You're all wet. The cat looked up at him with her moon-shaped eyes and murmured something again. Do something about it then. He smiled and got to work. He had to squeeze the fur thoroughly, so the towel soon turned into a wet rag. Should he? What? Do war crimes? Do I bait the cat? Or it doesn't really matter. I will bait the cat. That won't do. I'll give you a bat. As he carried her to the bathroom, the cat stayed still in his arms. What a cooperative cat. A warm and incredibly light body pressed against his chest. He was expecting the cat to bring out the closet any moment. Maybe as he opens the door. Now? Or as he turns the light on. Maybe this time? Still nothing. The cat glanced around the new room and looked at him again with her intelligent, almost human-like gaze. Not a single muscle in her small body moved. She was curious, and that's about it. She trusts me. He was about to ask her if she knows where they were and what's going to happen next. But that was just too much. So, it shouldn't be very difficult. The jail was can manage this. What do you think? He read somewhere a cat should get used to the new surroundings before baiting. Fear is born out of the unknown, and in that regard, people haven't gone too far from cats. New scents, unfamiliar objects, and the splashing of water, these are just shadows under the bed that will fall back if you get a better look at them. He carefully put the cat on the floor. She looked around the room again and returned her questioning eyes to him. Seems like she got comfortable enough. He turned on the water in the shower and felt a gentle touch. The cat was already loitering around his feet. She was curious indeed. The shower isn't so bad as compared to the rain, is it? The joke came out a little awkward. He felt embarrassed, and he didn't know why. Goddammit, flashing white light. She's just a cat. Maybe it was because of how the water glistened under her skin, or how she was looking at them from under half-lowered lashes. She was actually watching. He made her eyes, and each time felt shame burn through him, but that shame was thick and sweet. He was a little dizzy. His hand slid over her smooth, wet skin, and each time he would ask himself, was it really necessary? Then he would feel her eyes on him, and his thoughts would melt, running down her thighs with the ladder, disappearing between her neat toes. Neat toes. The bathroom shimmered, molten, bright, pulsating with light or darkness. He felt himself losing his balance and pulled his hand away. But she returned and pressed it to the wet, hot skin, covered in a soapy wail. She guided it to her boobies. He couldn't remember how he ended up in the living room again. I think Kyo passed out nosebleed. The cat was snapping peacefully in his arms. He absently ran his hand down the cat's wet back, tracing the bumps of her spine with his fingers. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up, not without a little difficulty. The body felt unusually heavy and unwieldy. He had to give the cat something to eat. He will lie down afterwards and then, hell, maybe he'll even fall asleep. Maybe he should have gotten a cat from much earlier. A ball of fur with a pair of moon eyes and a velvety voice that you can always negotiate with. And that's about it. That's kind of funny. He could have avoided all that suffering if only he had a cat. A man of good points. The kitchen blurred before his eyes. He got to the refrigerator and opened it, squinting from the light and leaning on the door way harder than he was supposed to. If the landlady was around at the time, she would have told him exactly so. Don't lean on the door. After all, this is her house and her refrigerator, and everything should be neat and tidy in case she has to move new tenants in. Perhaps the landlady would have even warned him about the milk. The milk itself is completely harmless, unless, of course, you are allergic to lactose. But there is a special kind of lactose-free milk, right? Maybe? I don't know. What matters is the bottle. Bottles, much like cats, can vary greatly, but this particular one was made of glass. If only the landlady was here, she would probably have told him not to touch the bottle, because he's blowing on the floor, and the bottle might break, and then the milk will spill, and he will have nothing to feed the nice cat he found. Or rather, it was her who found him, and very timely, because he was lying on the floor. He had been lying there for some time, and would have been lying still if he hadn't felt a light touch of something hot and rough on his cheek. It was almost like a dream. Although, of course, comparing sleep with fainting is not very correct. How you look at it? A little bit out of nowhere, the floor beneath him was surprisingly hard, cold, and wet. He felt all of those three qualities clearly and was afraid to imagine what would happen if he tried to move. But he had to move, one way or another. At least to see what's up, because something hot and rough was still standing up his cheek, gradually creeping up to his ear. He felt a warm breath, and then a cautious bite. Ouch! He jumped at the spot. A shadow rushed to the side, and then calmly began to lap milk from a puddle. Nice bite. The cat. What are you doing? The cat looked at him briefly and licked her lips.
そんなに大げさにしなくてもいいじゃない。
You can speak, and there's actual voice in here.
猫でもないのに、そんな状態で寝転んでるなんてね。それに、ミルク漬けになってるし。
Well, even if I am, it does not mean that it's time to consume the master, you know? Come on. Well, you're right. I let you down and had to get my punishment. I let myself down too. Good lord. There's cleaning to do until the next advent, like his mother would have said. I'll go get a rag. Stay here and don't break down the rest of the kitchen while I'm gone. The cat watched him go with a skeptical look.
これって全部、私のせいじゃなくて、自分がやったことなんじゃない？
And he returned with the bucket. The cat was gone. The deers are off. How to bake squares! And the kitchen, something exciting is happening! Take you'll never play! Did you take the pills? That's how tea drills! The gypsies finally used honey for embalming and preserving food. Later, the recipes were adopted by the Greeks. Also, the teaspoon of everything jam, a walnut, thank you, and a little cinnamon. If I'm baking, put a teaspoon of butter on top of. Microwave for 7 minutes at full power. I think I'm just gonna give that voice. Then listen to them scream. Okay. Bon appetit. Okay. This is the end. Thank you for playing. It's the end of the teaser. Please add Selene Apoptosis to your wish list and share your thoughts with us in the discussions. Okay. What are we to friggin' end? So you just gave me all the creepy crawly stuff at the very end. You're such a teaseball. Wait, when was this demo release again? I gotta go check. Selene Apoptosis. What does apoptosis mean even? Apoptosis means the death of cells which occurs as normal and controlled part of an organism's growth or development. So wait, does that mean that we're slowly dying? Oh yay. And I'm guessing Selena is gonna be the name of the cat we have with us. Wait, just notice the description. A beautiful stranger appears at your doorstep. She has nice butt. Will you let her in? I did. Dive into an erotic nightmare and the set of fates of these around you in this free mystic thriller visual novel. And this demo was available on October 7th and 13th. Which it's actually still is available. I don't know why you made it temporary and available at the same time. The full version is going to be available on the first quarter of this year, and I am reaching the end of the first quarter, which that means the full version should be available at the time I'm going to be scheduling this. I suppose, maybe. Will I play the full version? Seems promising, so yes.
Selene.
It has decent writing. Loot still. And Fletcher's game's writing is generally like pretty good, so hell yeah! I'm definitely recording the full game when it comes out. Anyhow, thank you for watching. If you want to try out the demo version yourself, or just look at the butt some more, I'll leave you the demo version down in the description. After that, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Bye bye.